The flame that was ignited in me when I was just 4 years old, ballet was the one thing that I devoted the most intense focus, hard work, love, and energy to. It meant absolutely everything to me. Ballet and my heart worked in a perfect partnership. My heart raced to pump blood to support the strength of my physical body. And in return, ballet gave my heart a purpose for beating every day. It was working, this cooperation between my body and my heart, and others recognized that as well. Everything I was told was validation that I was going in the right direction, on the pre-professional track, looking forward with the potential to sweep the world of ballet, as I was told. But after 12 years, my heart didn't want to be a part of this partnership anymore. Metaphorically, this statement could not be more wrong, for I will never lose the love and meaning that I have for this art form. But physically, the MYH7 genetic mutation coiled in my DNA that had caused my left ventricle to thicken from intense training made this statement very true. I was diagnosed with hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, the heart condition that is the leading cause of sudden death among high-performing young athletes today. Just as exciting opportunities in the world of ballet were opening up for me, I was told that every single time I was dancing, there was a chance my heart could have stopped beating. Everyone says to listen to your heart, but I didn't like what this thing inside was telling me anymore. As 15-year-old me was learning to comprehend what all of this meant, having to take a step back from ballet, I was learning a lot about the people around me as well. I began to recognize that people are going through things that others don't always know about, and I could relate to those who had lost something that they loved. I developed a very deep interest to connect with people, to hear their stories and to listen to their pains and needs and understand their perspectives and biases without judgment. Before this experience, I knew the dictionary definition of empathy, but only after having to take a step back from ballet am I really exposing myself consciously to what it feels like to empathize with someone. And I can see how that is molding the way that I view, connect, and communicate with people on both an individual and broader scale. This deeper level of empathy has given me a sense of clarity to better understand this complex world that we live in. While I had stopped competitive ballet, I was medically allowed to pursue recreational ballet if I kept my heart rate below a certain level. So every time I went to class, I told myself I would slow down or sit the combination out if my heart rate got too high. But I didn't know when my heart rate exceeded that specific beats per number. There was one specific product that I needed in a function that would allow me to continue dancing at a safe level. This ideal product would beep when my heart rate exceeds that safe threshold and would allow me to continue being active at that level. And it didn't exist. So I decided to form a team and build this product myself. My team and I reached out to over 35 people with heart conditions to listen to what their daily struggles are like. I listened to one person tell me that he was exhausted of constantly having to restrict himself from physical activity out of uncertainty. I heard the story of someone who was similar to mine, who had to stop competitive baseball, whose mom wanted a way to know her son's heart rate 24/7 real time because she was living in so much fear that her son would be playing around one day unable to restrict herself and that his heart would stop beating. Listening to what these people need in a product and empathizing with them allowed me to narrow down and define the problem that Pulse Wearables strives to solve. We are creating Pulse Wearables with the needs of our users in mind above all else, and I've learned to identify this as an essential part of the design thinking process, a 5-step framework for creative problem solving. At its core, design thinking is all about empathizing with its users and understanding the needs of the people that you are creating a process, product, or system for. So I explained the design thinking process as I was talking about pulse wearables, and after that, I got very involved in design thinking, and I interned at a program run by a social impact design firm this past summer. I went in expecting to help teach and practice design thinking, but I think I came out of it with a lot more than just that. Amongst a team of students who were sighted, there was one student who was not. This is Jazz, one of the sweetest people I have ever met, who also happens to be blind. I had noticed that she was struggling to keep up with her sighted teammates in the complex product that they were creating, and I didn't know how I could help. I had never interacted with someone who was blind before, let alone teach such a visual process to someone who was blind. So I decided to sit next to Jazz and say hi to her, and get to know her. I listened to her tell me about her life growing up blind in a world not designed for her. I was learning about how she navigates this world through touch and feel, and that helped me come up with tactile ways to teach the process to her, to provide her with an equal learning experience as the other students. For example, by experimenting with foam as opposed to paper, she was able to feel the indents of the sketches that she had created that she wouldn't have been able to feel with paper and pen. Being able to empower Jazz to take pride in controlling visual design for the first time was a very meaningful experience to me, and I think that's what really proved to me the power of empathy. But what I've said so far is not new. We all know the power of empathy, and yet there still seems to be such a lack of it in the world today. And that makes me wonder, why is it so hard for us to practice it? In an attempt to answer that, I think maybe it's because such a huge worldly impact doesn't seem practical or tangible from an individual's perspective. We don't see a personal benefit. This seems a bit ironic because I'm here talking about how understanding others will fix all the conflicts in this world. But deriving a personal benefit through empathy may help drill that idea into us a little deeper. Because I get it. I get that we're all humans. I get that empathizing is hard work, and I get that it's a lot easier said than done. And I don't want to preach an intangible task. I want to help think about the more practical mindset we can have that may allow us to actually achieve that. My personal experience with recognizing empathy on the individual scale of interaction and communication, as well as the slightly larger scale of design thinking and innovation, taught me so much. As I mentioned earlier, it brought me more clarity, more understanding of the complexities of this world. Heart conditions, blindness, all of our different stories are these complexities that I'm talking about. All the way to different races, different sexualities, different religions. Today, more than ever with the internet, we are constantly being exposed to and interacting with people who are so different than us. So if we use that to our advantage and make the effort to understand their perspectives, we are scaling our own understanding of this world a lot quicker than if we were learning only based on our own experiences and based on those of people who are just like us. I think we're all striving for clarity, to live more confident, more productive lives. So if we are practicing empathy to have clarity, then we are building that empathy muscle until it becomes second nature. That will motivate us to keep doing it until we are able to step away from that self-oriented incentive and think about the larger impact it can have on the world. My heart no longer allows my body to move in the ways that I had been practicing for so long, but it is learning how to open up to the hearts of other people and feel their beats on an incredibly deep level. That is something that I am forever grateful for, and I invite you to join me in taking those baby steps towards being more conscious of opportunities to express a little more empathy every day, so we can see what kind of future that will lead our generation to. Thank you.